Poetry is a collection of poems. So many poems in one collection, it is called as a poetry. Direct and indirect speech, this is a very important aspect in English grammar. Direct and indirect speech, you also call it as direct or reported speech. You will be given 8 annotations. You need to answer any 4 of them, and each annotation will have 5 marks. This comes up to 20 marks. Dramatic tension is more or less similar to the conflict in a short story or a novel. So what is the problem in that story? You will be describing in this dramatic tension. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shalini, Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today I am here to introduce the syllabus prescribed by University of Mysuru for 4th Sem B.C.A. So let us have an introduction to the syllabus. Let us see what we'll be understanding in today's session. I'll be introducing you to the syllabus first. Then we'll understand the pattern of evaluation. We'll also know the pattern of question paper. Then we'll have an introduction to the elements of novel. So let us start with the syllabus now. So what do you have in your syllabus? The first thing you need to understand is that you have a drama written by Shakespeare and it is Julius Caesar. Under this you will have the whole drama to study and you will have to answer one-word answers, and also you will have to describe few situations, very important situations are there, and you will be describing about it in your examination. Then you will also have to learn about the character sketch. There are various characters, minor as well as major, protagonist as well as antagonist. So all these you need to understand, and you will have to write a character sketch when it comes to your exam. Then you also will have to understand a few more important points wherein you will have to answer the essay type questions that will be given in your question paper. If you are prepared for the summary and if you are prepared for the character sketch, you will be able to answer any kind of question that is given in your question paper. So basically you need to prepare for one-word answers and the description of situation, character sketch and essay type answers. But all these can come when you understand the whole summary. If you are ready with the whole summary, you will be able to answer any of these questions that are given to you. So get ready with the summary. Each and every minute detail has to be understood by you so that you can tackle any kind of question. So this was one part of your syllabus, that is a drama. You also have language components wherein you will be learning various things. The first thing is you will have to understand the identification of adjectives. You will be taught the types of adjectives and the position of adjectives also, but you need to identify the adjectives. The reason you will be taught types of adjectives is that any kind of adjective given, suppose there are many kinds of adjectives like adjective of quantity, adjective of number, all these. So if those are given in the sentence, you will be able to understand it easily. You will be able to identify them easily. So if it is only identification of adjectives, then you will have to go through each and every example. You will have to work more there. But if you understand the types of adjectives, you will know what type of adjective will come under which section, and you will be able to understand, you will be able to identify the adjective easily. So you will be taught types of adjectives and the position which it has to be used in a sentence. So you will be able to tackle these questions. Next you have job application with CV. CV is nothing but your biodata. It is also called as biodata, the long form being the curriculum vitae. Okay, CV means curriculum vitae. It's another name for your biodata. That is, you are applying for a job and you are attaching your personal details and your educational qualification and all. So all those details will be there in CV. So job application, you will have to understand one formal letter. Okay, there are 2 types of letters, that is formal and informal. Informal, you write it to your relatives and friends. Formal, you write it to a person whom you are dealing with, maybe a business or maybe some obligation or something like that. You will be writing a formal letter. And job application, of course, you are writing it to some person. You are requesting for a job, you are applying for a job. So that time you have to write a formal letter only. So you will understand a formal letter as well as the format of how to write this curriculum vitae. So that is another part. Then you have correction of sentences. Most of the times, the mistakes what you make in sentences include the wrong usage of verbs, articles, a, and the unnecessarily use the and all, right? So you also might have come across many people who use the unnecessarily. So that one, then preposition, for, of, it, all these, right? So you make mistakes over there. Like you are unaware of those mistakes, but you make it. Then you use adjectives, like wrong usage of adjectives. Maybe for a cake you say it's a beautiful cake, or maybe for everything you use only that nice adjective. So that should not be there. Fine. So there you use adjectives wrongly, or maybe adverbs, they are not relevant, so you use it there, or maybe you use it in a wrong place. So like that, adverbs. And also redundancy. Redundancy is nothing but the repetition of words, like please reply back to my text. Reply, you use back is not required, isn't it? So please return back the book to the library. Return is enough, back is not required, because return, reply, that is it. When you use this word re, you need not have to use back again. So such words are called as redundant words, and that you will be understanding how to correct those sentences. So basically the parts of speech where you make mistakes, that you will be understanding under correction of sentences. Next one you have is direct and indirect speech. This is a very important aspect in English grammar. Direct and indirect speech. You also call it as direct or reported speech. Where to use direct, where to use indirect, you should understand. Direct speech you use when you are conversing with the person who is in front of you. Whereas indirect speech, I mean to say the reported speech, you will be using it whenever you are reporting something. Suppose you are interested in taking up journalism later, you are going to take some course under journalism, then reported speech will be very useful for you. If you are not taking up journalism as a profession, maybe you will write an article, or you are reporting something as a freelancer, that time also reported speech will be very useful to you. So direct speech, if at all you intend to write a novel or anything, you will be using direct speech when you are using these dialogues. So there are various uses of direct and indirect speech which we will be discussing in our physical classroom. So direct and indirect speech is also another category you're going to learn under this language component. At last we have this reading comprehension. This you've been doing from probably grade 4 onwards. So you will be given an unseen passage wherein you'll have to read it, and you have to find out the answers for those questions that are given after the passage. So here what you have to do is you need to read the questions first and then go to the passage, so you'll be able to identify the answers very easily. There will be some tips and tricks that I am going to teach you for this reading comprehension, which will help you for your competitive exams also later. If at all you intend to take up any competitive exams like FDA, SD, or maybe any IAS, IPS or something like that, also will be helpful to you. How to attempt this reading comprehension passage. So these are the things you are going to understand under language component. So this is the second part of your syllabus. You have a novel and you have language component part. So apart from this, we need to understand the pattern of evaluation. So what do you understand by this? Like how your examination will be conducted. How will you be evaluated for your semester? So you have two internals for 10 marks each. Like it will be conducted for 20 marks, which will be reduced for 10 marks, and that will be graded for 20 marks. Internals is there for 20 marks, and your term and exam. So this is term and exam, and this will be for 80 marks. So these will be added. So this will come up to 100 marks. Fine. This is not NEP syllabus, this is CBCA syllabus. So it is 80 marks, and there is no mandatory marks that you have to score. Whereas in NEP, it is mandatory for you to score 21 internal. So like that, there are some rules. But here, there are not any mandatory rules. So you can score that passing marks also, if at all you are attempting only to pass. So this is the term and exam and the internals. Then how is the question paper pattern? So in the question paper, you will have some comprehension questions. So comprehension questions are nothing but the questions that come from your text, that is the drama part. What do you do there? Out of 15 questions, you will be answering any 10 of the questions, which is there for 10 marks. So this main is for 10 marks. Out of 15 questions, you will be answering any 10 questions. That is from the play, that is the drama what we saw now, that is Julius Caesar. And this will be answered either in a word, a phrase, or a sentence. A word, only one word. Phrase, a group of words, not necessarily verb should not be there. And sentence, a complete sentence which gives you complete meaning. Find any one of these ways you can answer this question here. So most of the time it is one word only. Fine. Next, we have 4 annotations out of 8. You will be given 8 annotations. You need to answer any 4 of them, and each annotation will have 5 marks. This comes up to 20 marks. So here, what is annotation? You need to write who said this to whom, from which play it has been chosen, and which situation that person speaks about that. Fine. To write about all these, you need to cover maybe half a page or 3/4 of the page. That is enough. It will come up to 200 to 250 words, and that is enough for annotation. So then you'll have essay type questions. That is, you'll have to answer any 3 essay type questions out of the 5 questions given, and obviously this will be from the play Julius Caesar. So how much do you have? This is 10, 20 plus 30 marks. For 60 marks, you will have it from the play. So you obviously need to be very thorough with the play. So essay type questions, it is for 10 marks and you will have to cover almost 1.5 page. Fine. So it has to come up to 350 words in your answer sheet. So I'm just telling you 350 words. Suppose you write very small, then 1.5 page, it is too much for you. Probably 500 words you may have to write. So I just told you the word limit, probably 350 to 400 will suffice for this essay type questions. Then at last we have language component. Language component, you know, it is for 4 marks and you have 5 mains here. You saw, right, different categories which you learned, that is direct, indirect speech, identification of adjectives, then you have correction of sentences. So all these will be given and that you will have it for 20 marks. Fine. Reading comprehension, everything will be included in this. So everything will be for 4 marks. So this you will have it for 20 marks. So this is 60 plus 20, it is 80. So this is the term end paper I am talking about. Fine. C1 and C2 are 2 internals. C3 is term end paper. C1 plus C2 plus C3 comes up to 100 marks. So this was the pattern of question paper that will be given by University of Mysuru to you. So this was a short introduction about the syllabus. Now we'll move on to few of the literary genres that you have to understand. Before we start off with the drama, that is Julius Caesar, we need to understand these things. Fine. So what are those we need to understand? First genre we need to understand is the poetry. Poetry is a collection of poems. So many poems in one collection, it is called as a poetry. So then we have this fiction. Fiction is something imaginary. Any imaginary story is called as a fiction, and you have opposite of that, that is non-fiction. Any factual story that is written, or maybe any incident that is reported, or maybe any science narration that is written, so that can be a non-fiction. So science fiction is also there, non-fiction is also there. So sci-fi is also another trending genre that is seen in today's writings. Then we have drama. Drama is something that is the written type or written form of the play that has to be performed on the stage. So that will be in the written form. So that is drama. Then we have fable. Fable is more or less like moral stories. Fine. You might have heard many fables, isn't it? Aesop's fable is very famous. So Aesop's fable is from a foreign author, but you have this Jataka tales and all, Panchatantra, Jataka and all, those are all moral stories and we can call them as fables. In the end, that is when the story ends, you will have a moral, something to teach. So these were used to develop moral values in children, even that is loved by elders also. Then we have fairy tales, something that involves this fairies and all, right? So that is called as fairy tale. It is just a story, an imaginary story that is written for children. Then we have fantasy, dream world kind of thing. So that is also a trending genre and that is fantasy, mostly loved by children. Then we have folklore, something that passes on from person to person's mouth. So that is called as folklore, that folk tales what you call. So that can be called as folklore also. Then you have historical fiction, something related to history, but it is an imaginary story. You will have characters from history, but you will have some story cooked up in that. Fine, that is called as historical fiction. Next we have horror. Yes, this is the, the most trending you can say. Fine. So horror is loved by everybody almost. So this is one of the most interesting genres, one of the most read genres of literature. Then we have legend. Legends is authors write about some prominent personality who is worth following. Somebody more or less like a role model kind. Okay, so that is legend. Then we have mystery. Horror and mystery more or less the same, but mystery may have horror elements, may not have horror elements. Horror will have mystical elements. Fine. So this way, slight difference, but mystery is another thing which is loved by everybody. It can be a murder mystery or maybe a theft mystery, something like that. Okay, there are various genres under mystery also. Then we have mythology. Mythology is something that involves the gods and goddesses. Fine, it can be Greek mythology, Indian mythology, so all these. So there are various types of mythologies here. So if at all you're pronouncing it as mythology, it is wrong. MYTH is myth and it is mythology. Fine. It may be true, it may not be true that is the trend here. Then we have short story. Usually they say it is short story, but it will be a very long story. So yes, this short story will run up to maybe 3 to 4 pages or up to 10 pages also. So that is called a short story. Yes, under short story, there may be various other genres that are involved. It can be a mystical short story. It can be a folklore, that's a short story, or maybe a fable, that's a short story. So various genres are mixed in this short story also. So after this, we need to understand few elements of drama that are there, because we are going to learn a drama that is by Shakespeare, that is Julius Caesar. We need to understand about the drama that is there. So first thing is the role, that is you can more or less say the character, what role is being played by that character. So his role changes when it comes to different situations, and it also changes when it comes to the relationship with different characters. So this both you can closely relate. Fine, role and character and relationship you can closely relate, because as the role changes, the character also. So this is something interrelated. So character will change the roles when it comes to different relationships or different situations, or maybe with different characters. Fine. As I told you, the character sketch before we discussed, this character is nothing but we are talking about that character. So how that person, when you are telling about a character sketch, when you are writing a character sketch, it is important for you to write about the role also, how that person behaves with one person. So first thing is you need to give the physical trait, that is how he or she appears. If you are designing, so how that person appears physically, first you have to describe, then you will go to the internal description, that is how mentally he behaves, how the relationship is with the other character. So you will be talking with the view of the character you are describing. So that comes under character and relationship. And situation, as I told you, you have this description also. There are various situations which take place in a drama, and you will have to describe the situation. Fine. So there will be a name given to that situation. Suppose you are talking about Julius Caesar only, his assassination, or Julius Caesar's speech, or Brutus' speech. So like this, you have various situations which you have to describe. So you need to be thorough with the situations also. Then we have voice. So voice is nothing but, like, you're not talking about the active voice or passive voice. You're talking about the tone that person is using. So you need to pay little attention. You need not have to describe it when you are writing it in the answer. Then you have the movement. So what is going on there? What are the developments that are happening in the drama? You need to explain under movement. Then we have space and time. When did that take place? Which part of the world it has taken place, and when has it taken place? You need not have to describe the exact time over there. You need to just talk about when it has taken place. A vague idea if you can give, that is enough for this space and time. Then you have language and text. You have various aspects, that is the language which it is written. Is it Old English? Is it the New English that they are following? So since we are talking about this Julius Caesar, it is Old English only which he has used, which Shakespeare has used. So what are the other texts that are quoted over there? So that also you need to pay little attention. Here I'm not talking only about Julius Caesar, I'm talking about a drama in general. Fine. So these are the aspects you need to pay attention whenever you are reading a drama. Then we have symbol and metaphor. Like you can see in Charles Dickens' novel, you have various aspects, like he shows that the lighting, like in the novel The Bleak House, he talks about the light. The light is very dim. He wants to use that light in order to show that the situation is not a happy situation. Fine, it is actually a very gloomy situation. So like that, there are some symbols that are used by the authors in order to show the setting, or maybe show the mood of the characters or the situation. So that can come under symbol. And metaphor, some comparison that is made, so that can come under metaphor. So this both you can relate closely. Mood and atmosphere also. What is the mood of the character? Fine. Symbol, you are using something else to describe the mood of the character. So when you are describing the symbol, you are also describing the mood and the atmosphere. So I told you, you can relate these both very closely. Then we have audience. Who are the persons who are there in order to take the dialogues of the speaker? Suppose if Brutus is speaking, who is the audience there? If I am talking, who is the audience? I should be well aware of who is my audience because I need to reach them. If I can't reach you, then there is no point in me talking like this. So I should not be using very high vocabulary because I want that to reach you, isn't it? So my vocabulary, my language should be like it has to reach you. It should be understandable by you. So that way, who are the audience you need to understand and you need to talk to them. So here in drama, you will be understanding who is talking and who the audience that are there. Then we have dramatic tension. Dramatic tension is more or less similar to the conflict in a short story or a novel. So what is the problem in that story? You will be describing in this dramatic tension. Apart from this, you will also be talking about the setting of this novel also. So where this has taken place, that comes under space and time. So this was a short introduction of the elements of a drama. Fine. So with this short introduction, we come to an end of this session. Yes, this was a very short session, just an introductory session. Please go through the syllabus and be prepared for the drama that we will be learning in our physical classes. Yes, let us meet again in our next session, that is Julius Caesar, which is a very interesting drama and of course, one of my personal favorites. So fine, let us meet again, children. Thank you for your time. Keep learning. Take care. Bye-bye.